Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go, he says. Welcome to the Sports Wrap. Here it is on a Friday.
Beautiful.
I was going to say the final Friday, but it's not the final Friday of August quite yet.
No.
Second to last. You say it's beautiful. I think it's humid as a son of a gun out there.
It could be a lot worse, and we're going to have a couple of hot days. Then it's going to cool off, and after that first football game, which can be kind of warm. After that, then you're putting on your parkas. So it's we'll just take it. But I did think of this today when I left the house. And I left about 1 o'clock, and I thought this would be just about the time 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock, when they'd start practices, the afternoon practices at UMD.
Okay.
If you survive the morning practice fairly well, the afternoon practice was about 5 times as bad. So just because of the heat, even in Duluth. So but I thought about that, and I thought, geez, the punishment that you go through to prepare for a football season.
They don't let you do that to kids anymore, or to athletes anymore, like they did back in the late 60s or the late 80s, for that matter. Although I have to admit, we lived in a farming community. We practiced for 2 hours, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And when 9 a.m. rolled around, you were expected to go home and work on the farm to get the rest of your workout in.
I've talked to wrestlers like that, and they said, wasn't wrestling practice hard? Not as hard as going home and going to work. And so they always thought that wrestling was a little bit easier and a lot more fun. So.
I mentioned we only had 2 hours practice at old TM. I got the TM hat on. Hey, we had the Meadowlands Fair last week. Got a chance to see a lot of people, a lot of family.
You've been going to this fair for how long?
54 years, I guess. Ever since ever. There was a few years that it wasn't held. Back when I was a kid, the money for rides kind of ran out of gusto.
Yeah.
So we used to have the octopus and all these other things, and we don't have rides there anymore. It's more of a social event. They had a tractor pulling contest.
Oh,
so they brought out
how Americana is that?
They brought out a 1940s tractor. They hooked 4 ropes to the front, and 4 guys grabbed hold of the ropes and they pulled it down the street and see who could do it the fastest. That's what they did for a tractor pull.
That's a tractor pull.
That was the tractor pull.
They didn't hook it up to another tractor.
They did not hook it up to another. That's what I thought it was going to be. Well, good thing the guy who was sitting on the tractor had his foot on the brake.
Otherwise, they were moving it, huh?
They were moving that tractor. It's not a great big tractor, but 4 guys could move it down I would say a half a block, and they were doing it in about 12 seconds.
I got a vision of a football training technique here.
Training football, I agree. Until the guy falls down in front of the tractor while it's moving.
Ooh, that's bad.
That was a little scary, but beanbag contest, 40 teams in the beanbag contest. That's with 2 people per team, so 80 people took part in that. Dances both nights. I got to call bingo again. Give away some money. So it was a great time, and again, just a shout out to everybody who watches this show. Not everybody, but it was good to see some people that I hadn't seen in a while.
Well, just to kind of point out the small town icono type thing, like your fair down there, a birthday party, we went to Grigla and stuff. You see real small microcosm towns and the people that come on in them, and I gotta say that these are real folks. These are real folks. There's not a pretentious bone about with them, and they've been in these communities all your life. I'm sure you had a good time. This is not unlike what is turning to be that bass tournament downtown that I drove around here.
I was going to say that's the big thing in our town this weekend. Of course, is the International Falls Bass Championship. As we sit here at 3:10ish on a Friday afternoon, boats are just starting to come off the lake.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're hoping that they're 19 or 20 or maybe 21 pounds of bass.
Well, you called that for quite a few years.
I got a chance to be on the radio for a lot of years for that, and it's a big deal. The fishermen like that we were calling it on the radio and or with our live stream, because they could be sitting in the boat and kind of going, 15 pounds. 18 pounds. Oh, this is where we're going to be sitting. So, it was a big deal.
If there's a trick to fishing and winning a fishing contest, these fishermen are going to come up with it. They're pretty smart guys, and women. They know the lake and they know what's going on. They prepare well.
The key is, and I'll say it this way, from a guy who doesn't fish very often, But in order to be able to win the IFBC, as they like to call it, you've got to be able to go out and fish bass where the water is 40 feet deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go find the bass in the lily pads along the thing, but you're going to catch 3-pound fish, maybe a 4,
Well, you know,
maybe a 4-pound
bass
fish.
fishing is different than walleye fishing. And so, I mean, everybody here concentrates on walleye and the other game fish, but boy, there's some tremendous bass on this lake. And, you know,
Yeah, we saw a 5.7-pound fish come off the lake 2 years ago.
Geez, 6
It's almost
pound
6 pounds. So, the big guys talk about that you got to go out and be willing to pay the price. You might only catch, you get to register 5 fish. You might only catch 5, 6, 7 fish, but they're going to be of the 4-pound plus variety, and you're going to fish them deep, and yeah, it's going to be. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'll be once we get done here today, I'll be listening on the radio to see how it goes. I'm not going to go down there and witness the spectacle today. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it all plays out. So, but 60 teams out there fishing today. I would guess most of them on the lake. There's always 1 or 2 that head out to the river just because of lack of pressure. You got to kind of pick your spots. But I don't know where the depth of the river is at. I don't look at it.
You know, I mean, I think it's pretty high, but the lake is coming down.
Lake is coming
down. But there was a lot of boats. Somebody that was staying at our cabin, like my wife was saying this morning, the boats just flew out in three different
waves. Yep.
3 different waves.
And I think the big thing, folks, is it always seems like the International Joint Commission on Water, or whatever it's called, the IJCC or whatever it is, I forget. I used to know because I used to have to watch that a little bit. But they always seem to want to change the number of gates, like the day before the Bass Championship starts or right in the middle. And I would hope that in the future, you know, they would leave it alone. Let the guys go out and fish and know where the fish are at, and then go from there.
Well, you know, it's one of the things, because we've had bass fishermen in here for 10 days.
Oh yeah.
Pre-fishing this thing, and so, you know, this is a big.
Yeah, they want a chance to win $10,000. That's
10,000, huh?
5,000 per guy. Well, after you pay for the gas and the
and the $200,000 boat.
Well, and the $200,000 boat and the staying in a hotel and.
I driving in, all the hotels were packed. Flew in yesterday. There's not a spot.
I would guess you can't get a hotel room in town.
No. So
great for the economy, and kudos to the committee.
Yeah.
That gets it done every year.
They do a great job, and you know, they're just pumped over there. I hope I can talk my wife and go over and get one of those wood heated pizzas. But you know, a lot of people over there. They're all having a good time.
I am sure they are. Where would you like to go to first? Football, baseball? What are you thinking?
Well, I got a couple of spotlights here, but you know, it's like we don't bring it up too much. But next week starts another college season.
They actually start tomorrow.
Well, it does start tomorrow, but
the big time.
The big time, and I'm talking, of course, the big schools: University of Minnesota Duluth and Bemidji State University. And remarkably enough, I can go to their games this year and then not have to worry about my grandsons because they don't play UMD.
Oh.
And so they don't talk to me a lot during those games. Anyway, but UMD, right now, Mankato, Minnesota State Mankato, has the 11th rated team in Division II.
Okay.
And last year, UMD did not get rated, and their actual performance kind of showed that.
Geez, look what the cat just dragged in. For heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
God, you just never know what you're gonna what's gonna walk in,
You
man.
want to grab a chair? Go ahead, sit down.
You guys drinking or?
Not yet.
We're on camera.
We're taping our show. You want to get in, or
You are in the show. That's in the show.
Let me.
Quite an honor to be here today.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Gotta see if I'm gonna see you. Oh yeah, we'll get you on camera there a little bit. I might have to get you to inch just a little bit that way so we can get you on. What are you up to these days?
I'm just living down by Como Zoo, real close to it, but not
in the zoo.
Not yet.
Yeah, up for Betty's party, huh?
Yeah, 90th birthday party right across the street.
Well, I'm telling you, that's
Betty who? Sorry.
Betty Villalta.
Betty
Villalta. Yeah, I know Betty.
Yeah.
So we.
She doesn't look 90.
No,
She doesn't act 90.
No, and
No.
when she was very young, Donnie Villalta thought she looked pretty good. So but I remember teaching with Don, and a hell of a guy. He's an amazing guy. So I'm sure she'll have a good turnout because
Foley,
she's
Minnesota.
popular.
She's from Foley, Minnesota.
Well, there you are.
Wrestling country.
Yeah,
That is wrestling country.
it is wrestling country. It still
You
is.
guys don't want to talk a little wrestling first, do you?
Well, we could give a shout out and an honor to Jerry Jingles that just passed.
Jerry Jingles just passed, and Noel Bailey passed this spring, and so we were losing the old timers. But yeah, I talked to Dick Ostrud, and he and Tim went down to Jerry Jingles. I met him a couple times. Jerry Jingles was one of the most unique coaches. He never yelled. Most by the time of a regular tournament or even a duel, a coach is a little hoarse. Not Jerry Jingles.
When your guys are pinning everybody, you don't have to do as much yelling.
That
George,
helps.
you and I had to do a lot of yelling.
Yeah, Jingles didn't have to. He'd squirt in the ball and just kind of whisper. And and I met him. He was very quiet, and we were talking. And I said to Dick after, what was his room like? It was quiet. No whistles, none of that stuff. This was just the quiet wrestling room. But you're right about the other thing. He had like 12 state team championships, and
I think they won 5 in a row.
yeah, I think
He
they do
was
too.
Coach at
He coached at Canby.
Canby. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but that's where Ostrich originally started out, and we
don't know
grew
if
up,
I
and
knew that, if I
you
remember
could count
that.
on Candy Staples final in the team tournaments, and that was Don Dravis and Jerry Jingles. Yeah, you learn from the best when you watch these cats. No two ways about that.
Yeah. Yep. I watched a little of the Olympics and watched our guys wrestle in the Olympics, and I thought that was a heck of an effort.
Try to explain in your guys' mind, because you guys are wrestling guys, as long as you brought it up and we didn't talk about it. Talk about what's different in your mind. What's the biggest contrast between what we watch in college wrestling or high school wrestling, between what we see there and what we saw in the Olympics?
Well, they use a freestyle wrestling technique, and what happens is if there's nothing going on, the referee's going to call somebody for a passivity, throw him down, and the other guy he's going to resist. He's going to be the best staller in the world. Another guy's going to grab his gut and flip him over for 2 points. You can get. Well, I saw 12 points scored in a row during the Olympics. Bam, 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 bam. Every time they turn, they go over. You don't do that in collegiate. That's catch-can wrestling. And it's just scored quite a bit different, and so.
I kind of noticed that there wasn't so much, even in the freestyle. I know in Greco you can't, but even in the freestyle, it didn't seem like you went for the lights quite so much. You didn't go for that double.
Well, if you take
that
a
double
look at those
leg.
guys, they square up. They don't put 1 foot out. They don't give you a single. They square right up at you, and they're in there, and they'll defend you the whole time, and they'll buck you. And for a good wrestler, a good strong wrestler, it's hard to get that leg. So then they have to start working some duck unders. There were some great ducks, and they go from duck unders to a single and all the rest of that stuff, and they do it so quick it's a blur. I saw a couple of moves. I had to slow it down, put it in slow motion. Just bam, bam.
And then there's Gable Stevenson.
Huh?
Gable Stevens
And just think if
it's
he'd
like
still
that.
been there.
It's like that Lopez from Cuba at Greco-Roman, 6'5", 285 pounds, and he's pieced together. Now you look at him and you know if you're going to go on the mat again, you're going to feel some serious pain shortly, and it's just like just unbeatable. 5 straight gold titles, gold medals. That's incredible. So there's some really, really tough
And he
people
was
on the mat.
41 years old.
41 years. He just
Not too
turned
shabby.
42. No,
Gable Stevenson was 22.
Gable Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's, I don't know where he's at right now, but I knew that he signed a contract for Buffalo. I'm not sure he's on the team or
that's
anything.
it.
Is he still there? So
They just played the Bears in the Hall of Fame game.
he's just he's just got too much athletic talent not to do something. But he walked out of left the contract for WWE, and who knows? But he's never played football. Maybe
He'll
they
only
can
be
teach him.
28 in the next Olympics.
Yeah.
He could do it.
By the way, Paul Tessier, before I forget to introduce him, so everybody at home is not going like, what? Well, are they going to introduce him? I apologize. We got started right. We got right into it, and I didn't throw that out there.
Well, class of 77, right?
Correct.
Class of 77.
Yep. Got our 50-year reunion coming up in a couple, 3.
Wow.
Yeah, so that would be-
Craziness.
yeah, if the meteor doesn't hit first. That's what I would say.
Well, you were talking about UMD football when he came in.
UMD, and I'm just saying is that right now I think that they're improved, and I even hate to say this, UMD has the possibility of having an incredible passing attack. I'm sorry, Coach Jim, because 3 things that can happen when you put up the ball, 2 of them are bad. But they got this guy. His name is Kyle Walsjasper. He's
Still there.
He's 6'1". He's 240 pounds. Redshirt junior, and he's got all his receivers back. And I mean, this guy is so big and so strong. Sometimes you throw him in the backfield as a blocking back. They run all kinds of weird situations with this guy. And so he's coming back, and I think they're going to have a really good team. Defensively, I'm not so sure because they lost quite a bit last year. But they're not going to have much time. They're going to go against Northern Michigan next Thursday, and then they got a week off, and then they're going to go against Mankato. So
Not easy.
Not easy.
Not an easy start, but you're going to find out where you're at real soon.
Well,
real quick.
Our friends over at Bemidji State, who will follow over there, they're going to start off with Michigan Tech, and then the next week they're going to Mankato. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. No, UMB's in a better situation with that schedule, but Mankato's going to be tough to beat. Either way, I'm looking forward to it.
And we found out last year that it doesn't matter if UMB beats Mankato during the regular season. Mankato still gets to go to the playoffs.
Mankato
I'm still bitter.
gets to go.
Sorry, I haven't gotten over that. I still cannot figure out how that is. You've got identical records, and you beat the team that you have the identical record with, and you don't go to the playoffs, and the other team does. I got a two-handed salute for the NCAA selection committee. For them, but I can't put it on TV. I can't.
I want to just tell you about Walsjasper.
Huh?
He's a chemical engineer major. He is.
So he's intelligent.
He's not only intelligent, but he's on the first string all-academic, all-American academic, and a second string all-conference quarterback as a sophomore last year. So the kid's got the package, and he's going to be fun to watch. And I hate to put this out, but maybe I might sneak down there for.
Well, my son wants to go in the worst way, so don't go without it. Okay. So here's the deal. We now know that we just talked about that UMD plays on Thursday, and they play at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
But the Gophers play North Carolina at 7 o'clock.
I know it.
Have you got it figured out how you're going to be watching both at the same time?
Could you call that recording? And besides, if I'm watching a Gopher game, I generally I watch it twice. Once for kind of enjoyment and getting a glimpse, and then I kind of take it apart a little bit, and it's.
And then I want you to make sure that you thank the athletic director who would not allow that the Broncos play at home on Thursday night, that they moved the game to Friday, so that we could watch the Gophers for once. I never get to watch the Gophers.
No, I understand.
Broncos always playing on Thursday night.
We called a lot of games
and missed a lot of Gopher games.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, nah.
I'm not looking for whatever. But I'm just. When Coach said we could move it to Friday, I'm like, we're going for it.
No.
I want to be able to watch Thursday. I want to be able to watch Thursday night football.
A quick shout out to the St. Anthony football team.
Yeah.
I have 5 great nephews playing on the team.
Holy crap!
Huh.
One is a sophomore. He's 6'6", and he's a wide receiver, and he's pretty decent.
Okay.
They're playing the very, very first game of the Minnesota State High School Football League, and they're playing it at the Vikings practice facility.
Oh, that'd be good.
So a shout out to those guys.
Are they playing tonight?
They're playing tonight. At 7:05, and
at TCO.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to those guys. Yeah, the high school football season also gets there. I didn't even look to see who was playing today in Minnesota. Just there's too many other things to focus in on.
Yeah, there is.
Woo. So.
Yeah. It's busy downtown.
I'll bet.
It's busy downtown.
Florida State plays Georgia Tech tomorrow at 11 a.m. Does that tickle your fancy at all?
Yeah, it does. And I'll tell you, because I don't know what it is, but Florida State, they had a couple of doldrums for a few years, but then they started recruiting again, and they're going to have, I don't know if that has, your thumbs matter?
Yeah, my thumbs itch.
Bone spurs?
Bone spurs?
My thumbs are itchy.
So I want to see just what Florida State could do after their team left them at the end of the season.
Yeah, they're ranked number 10 in the nation right now. I don't think Georgia Tech will put up much of a battle, but I sure hope the heck that they do. I'm I don't want to see Florida State.
Rambling Wreck.
A Rambling Wreck. You never know.
Wreck.
Used to run the triple option. A lot of fun to watch. They don't.
I like that triple option.
I know you does. I know you do. So yeah, a bunch of other Division I games that aren't so big tomorrow, but things getting started football wise. The Vikings look to go 3-0 tomorrow in the preseason, which means absolutely doodly squat.
No, that does not mean diddly.
It doesn't?
No.
It means everything?
No, it means nothing. It's like Ingram is the only one of the offensive lines that put any time in, and after watching him the last game, I'm glad he is. Because
he needs the work.
He needs the work.
He needs the reps.
And
I'm just going to say this. I know every NFL team's not playing their guys during the preseason or hardly at all. You're missing the boat.
Well, they still got to figure out the kickoff situation.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. No, but I got some questions for you.
All right.
Okay.
Lay them on. I'm
okay.
ready.
No. You're going to love this one. Is Sam Donaldson another Baker Mayfield?
It's Sam Darnold.
Darnold.
Is he another Baker Mayfield? Well, God, I hope not. I hate Baker.
Well, I know you do, but you take a look at Baker Mayfield.
I understand where you're going.
His seventh year.
I understand.
And there seems to be. They're coming up. That Big Sam, they come about the same time, they're about the same age, and
I understand what you're saying.
Mayfield had a pretty good season last year.
Mayfield had a pretty good season with Tampa Bay last year. Could it be that way? I think so. I'm going to say it this way, and I'm going to bring another quarterback into the fray on this. Tua went after Brian Flores this week.
Yes.
I'm sure you're aware of that, and how mean he was to Tua and made him feel so bad and tried to kick his butt.
Are you kidding? His old man used to beat him up.
I bet Nick Saban never yelled at Tua. Never yelled at Tua, right? He just held him with soft hands and whatever. So I'm not buying the whole Tua thing and that he got better because maybe he got handled differently and got sunshine blown up his butt and whatever else. But he started playing in his third and fourth years or whatever, so he got better, right? So it's easier not to get your butt chewed so much, right?
Well, I'm a practicalist type situation here, and I got to say about this: the Vikings defense has a chance to take kind of a lame offense and keep them in the game.
Sure.
And depending on what kind of quarterbacks they bring in the picture, because boy, I'll tell you. We leak cornerbacks around here, but they got a good defensive line. They got I don't know, 3 of the best safeties in football. And so if they can go with some cornerbacks,
I think Sam Darnold could very well be that Baker Mayfield type player where he's been in this situation. And now he was brought in basically in April or May, whichever it was, and basically got said, "It's yours. Figure it out. You got 4 months before the season starts. Get your crap together and let's go play football and let's go win." I don't think he has to go out there and be a superstar. And I think that was the problem when he came out of college. He thought he had to be the superstar. No, just go out there and manage the game. You don't
and so then I come up and I say, okay, we all know the Vikings need some offensive balance. They were 5th in attempted passes last year in the NFL. They were 5 from the bottom on rushing attempts.
So that has something to do with them being behind as often as they were. But I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't think that comes back to the quarterback. I think that comes back to the coach.
Oh, I do
Kevin
too.
O'Connell calling the plays, and he has to be more balanced.
Is it harder for a quarterback to play a passing game than hand off the football?
Oh, yeah, it's easier to turn around and be the pivot back and just and hand the ball off. But I think there's that mix of it. You got to know when you need. I know we play in a league. The NFL likes to throw on first down, keep the other team guessing, doing those kinds of things. But I think what it really comes down to is don't be so predictable. And I think the Vikings last year and maybe the year before were a little predictable on offense. That okay, defensive linemen, get your ears pinned back because they're going to throw the ball quite a bit.
They are.
I think a little more balance just to keep the defense honest.
And and I think that they might have one of the best backfield crops that I've seen in a long time. Jones, Nwangwu.
I won't even try to say his name.
Nwangwu. That's easy. Nwangwu.
Nwangwu.
Anyway, he's had a real good fall practice, and of course my good friend Ty Chandler, and CJ is still hammering heads there.
This is it. I'm making the predictions right now.
This
CJ
is last
Ham's
season?
final season.
Yeah, it could be.
The body can only take so much abuse.
The X factor,
Yeah,
the way I look
yeah.
at it anyway, real quick, they play in a tough division.
They do.
That's a tough division, and they got to play some mutters outside. Chicago, Green Bay, you're always so they deal with some things that other teams don't have to deal with,
Yes,
and
but-
they deal with the tradition too.
ESPN's blowing a lot of sunshine up about the Chicago Bears. Are we buying it?
Yes.
Aren't they like 2-27 last year?
They were. I
You
am
can only
buying
be
it.
bad for so long.
And I'm telling you right now,
i.e. Detroit.
There is Detroit.
Yeah.
I am buying the smoke that Detroit's blowing too, but I think Chicago have waited their turn. They've been patient the last couple of years.
So you're telling me Caleb Williams is the answer?
I think that the Bears are going to be real strong on defense, and they're going to set up a pretty good passing game. And they're going to sprint out. They're going to do their sprint outs and all the rest of those passing games, passing plays that I like, and so I think they're going to be just fine.
So you're saying that the Vikings come in last place in the
No,
division?
they're going to beat Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
Am I going to concede
So
to
Detroit's number 1, Chicago's 2, Minnesota's 3, and the Packers are 4.
The way they're sitting there right now, I think that the Vikings, they might win 6 games. If they go over
That's
6
it?
games, then anything could happen. Yeah, maybe 7.
Boy, what a naysayer you are, Joe.
Well, no, it's just, they don't have that offense put together yet. Defense, though, I mean, hey, I like Dallas Turner. He's going to be fun to watch. And he's going to make a lot of left tackles, which they played soccer. So, it's they're going to be fun to watch, no two ways.
I can go watch. I'm going to have to watch the Vikings go 6-11. Is that what you're telling me?
Maybe, yeah.
Not up in Georgia Solarium, though.
Not in. Well, there'd be a lot of jumping out the windows out of the
But
Solarium.
it's the same way with the Gophers. I'm not sure that they're going to win 6 games. If they won 6 games, what did they win last year? 5 before they got to the.
Yeah, they got 5.
Before they
went to the Little Caesars Bowl?
the ball game,
Yeah.
the ball game.
Or whatever it was. Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it's been an honor.
Good to see you, Paul.
Yeah, good to see you.
Enjoy the party.
You're not going to talk about the Twins?
Well, I love the Twins, and they're really struggling right now because they're short on pitching, like about every other major league team right about now.
Well,
Except the Dodgers.
this is one of the things. The last 7 games, the last 40, the starting pitchers of the last 7 games have been rookies, and so I think right now they're going to have, because I'm telling you, Joe's not coming back.
Joe's not coming back this year.
No, he won't be coming back. I don't think Carlos is coming back this year either.
You don't think Carlos Correa is coming back? You think they're going to shut him down?
This has been going on for 7 weeks now, and this was going to be just a small injury. And boy, that bottom of the heel, that nerve gets inflamed down there. And the way it turned out, young Lee getting hurt is kind of hurting us more than anything else. But they're 2 games out of the lead.
Yeah.
So why do
So they have a good farm system.
So we don't have to bring Carlos back until it becomes necessary.
No, we need Brian Buxton back, and I mean, and it's like anything else. It's like they said, could Joe Ryan come back? He says, yeah, the 3rd game of the World Series if they make it that far. So
Well,
who's
they were
to
up
say?
by 5 against San Diego, and the relief pitching let them down. Akala, he gave up 3 earned runs, and then they brought in another guy, and I don't know.
But keep in mind, San Diego was about 13-2 when they rolled in there. They were hot, and
they got the 3rd highest payroll.
they really that's why they were 17-2. They bought a bunch.
Yeah, I think they hit San Diego at a tough time, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
It was tough to lose that one, but I think if you said, well, we're going to go into San Diego and we're going to win 1 of the 3 games.
They won a 7-game road trip and they won 4.
So against Texas, who isn't maybe the Texas of last year. Of course, they're about the same where they were last year, except they went on the incredible streak to win the World Series. So, to go 4-3 on the road trip against 2, what I would call pretty good teams.
They have some incredible talent.
I see your favorite team, Houston, is back in the top of the pack again. They were on the bottom here.
They were on the bottom. Yeah, here in June, I think they were still in last place, and now they're in first place.
Well, the way Judge is just slotting home runs out at will, and then he's got.
Well, he's playing in that little league field.
I mean, geez, it's just unbelievable.
I'll bet you Mom and Dad are real proud of that big boy.
Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to a dear friend of both George and I over the years. He's not here anymore. Bear Haller.
Bear.
And if we can work to get him into the Bronco Hall of Fame, many stories about that legend, I'll tell you. He's really
we got letters.
Are they true stories or are they embellished?
Well,
because it's almost mythical, right? I mean, the bear.
They're hard to believe stories because it's not the average day person that you know. So I had a guy at an Oktoberfest at my niece's place come up to me and say, "You're from International Falls?" And I go, "Oh, another hockey story." He goes, "Do you know Bear Haller?" I said, "Yeah, I knew him real well. I wrestled, with him on the team." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "He packed the gym in Virginia to wrestle Bob Wielander. He went up to heavyweight when Bear was wrestling at 185."
They put window stickers on all the cars. They went down, see the Bear and Wielander, and Wielander
beat him 2-1.
Yeah, I still remember when he came in my room, and I still that bothers me. Should have swatted you for that one.
Well, he was showing valuable moves to the kids.
He was breaking my neck. Anyway.
But anyway, Wielander cut down to wrestle him in the regions, and Bear pinned him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Bear was so much stronger.
Yeah, and like I say, quite a legend.
We do have. He has been nominated, and there is a letter there. I know because I wrote it. But
I just looked at it the other day because I was getting all our stuff together. We just had our first Hall of Fame meeting of the year on Wednesday nights.
Well, he certainly was a colorful character and part of the Falls legend
lore.
Lore. And
absolutely.
Anyway, thanks again, and you guys have a good fall.
We'll take care.
Yeah,
we'll see you.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Well, there you go, Paul Tessier for a few minutes there. We appreciate his time. And you were saying the Twins 2 games back. The Royals also 2 games back. Cleveland was playing the Yankees, and the Yankees kind of beat up on them a little bit.
I think the Twins play Cleveland 4 games the second or third week of September.
September 14th or something, right around there, somewhere.
But they play 4 games, and of course that's what it should come down to for conference championships, for division championship.
Yeah, and I think I looked at the schedule. I think we played the Colorado Rockies the last series of the year, and I'm like, who thought this up? I realize that there's 5 teams in the division, so you got to play somebody outside of your division possibly. But in the National League, that makes no sense. Anyway. LA has got the best record in baseball now, followed by the Yankees, and then Philadelphia, and then New York or Baltimore and Milwaukee. Just about. I mean, the Twins are right there.
They are, so. And they got and they're opening up with St. Louis tonight, and
Jay Bart will be there, cheering for his Cardinals against our Twins.
And Gray's pitching for the Cardinals, former Twin.
Yeah.
And so this should be a good show tonight. In fact, they're 6 games behind the Cubs in the National League Central, and so cousin Joey, sorry buddy, I hope they get whacked.
Have you been watching any of, or I should say the Twins? You said St. Louis, and then they play Atlanta and Toronto at home, a 9-game or 10-game home stand here. No easy ones there.
No, it's that time of year now, and they're making up games, and they're doing all the rest of this stuff. So it's going to be
So, have you been watching any Little League World Series?
I was watching South Dakota, and the South Dakota team was from Sioux Falls.
Made you think of the tweeters?
Well, it did, and I thought, you just take a look, and I'll bet you the Canaries will have these guys on the field if they haven't already had them. They lost to New York. They were up a couple of runs, and then New York started hitting the ball, and I mean, these kids could really wad it. So they kind of drove them out, but they had them going for a while, and then New York, they played again last night, but I didn't see what the final score was.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of Nevada taking on Florida last night, is what I saw. And Florida ended up winning. They pulled their starting pitcher so that if they make it to the World Series championship game on Sunday, he is available.
Yeah, they won't have
And
too
I'm
many
like,
pitches.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a gutsy. And they brought in this kid who has a glove that is pastel colored, pinks and greens and teals and whatever else. And he had a do-rag under his hat, and his hat was kind of cocked off to the side like this a little bit. I'm exaggerating a little bit, and I'm like, uh-oh, what are we going to get with? And this kid came out, and he pitch? Holy crap! He had those poor batters from Nevada guessing, and they didn't know where it was going. And I'm just like, and it wasn't like he was throwing like 75 miles an hour or whatever, but he was throwing strikes, and it must have been moving. And I'm just like, oh my gosh!
Well, you're going to see somewhere between, I'm not sure the quarterfinals, semis, or whatever it is, but it gets up to the top. Every one of these teams is going to have an exceptional athlete, and I mean this is an athlete that's going to go play college somewhere, maybe even the pros.
Oh yeah.
And so and those kids are there. They're big and they're strong and they know how to play the game. So they're fun to watch.
Texas versus Florida in the U.S. Championship.
Okay.
Chinese Taipei versus Valenzuela in the international. So.
Venezuela. I think they beat up Canada the other day, and.
Chinese Taipei won 4 in a row to kind of get themselves all the way into
this international type situation.
Yeah,
like that.
they separate them out, and then everybody, and then the teams that lose out.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the South Dakota team because I know they're not towards the final, but then they go and start playing all these other games against the international teams.
Yeah.
And so that you just don't go there and play 2 games and it's like, thanks for coming to Williamsport. You stay the whole week.
Well, in Taipei, they've been winning this tournament and doing well in this tournament for a long time. And
long time.
And you just baseball, just like all American sports, is international, except for maybe football hasn't caught on over there.
They'll get there.
They'll get there.
Our good friend Wyatt, in his last 6 games, 6 for 13.
Whoa!
Batting average up to 256. And the Canaries are up by a game over Winnipeg and a game and a half over Fargo-Moorhead with Labor Day. Labor Day is the last day of the regular season. So what does that mean? 10 days left.
They had a great shot of Wyatt picking up his 77th steal, set the record for the Canaries, and and think about that. That's an awful lot of bases.
It's a lot of bases.
It's just like Wyatt's the kind of guy that can hurt you in so many ways. So what does he do? Well, he takes a walk to first, winds up stealing second, and he's got the pitcher worried the entire time while he's there that he's going to steal third. And it's just he can hurt you in so many different ways, but he has all those skills. He's fun to watch.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
U.S. Open tennis starts on Monday. Igor Swiatek is the number 1 seed on the women's side. Sabalenka 2, and Coco Gauff, the defending champion, number 3. So Coco got to keep her focus. I said this when
she's had a bit of an issue with that, hasn't she?
She just has to pull it together. And then of course number 1 on the men's side, Jannik Sinner, and of course he wasn't in the Olympics, and of course he got tested positive twice for steroids, I guess in March. So he didn't go to the Olympics, and I assume he probably wouldn't have passed the test, right?
Yeah,
and he's probably still in the system.
Yeah.
But he's the number 1 seed. Djokovic is 2. Carlos Alcaraz, who's going to be the next greatest thing, is still the number 3 seed. Did you see him destroy his racket in Cincinnati last week?
Yes, and he come to apologize for it, and right he should, because kids watch this stuff, and it's just this is. In the 60s, you'd hear some of this, and you'd just think, he's just somebody's putting up a
Never
thing.
seen that out of him before, though.
No,
never seen
not him.
Never yell at the umpire. Never get after a lines person. Nothing. And to see him do that was like, he's off his. He didn't have his Wheaties this morning or his brand or something. I don't know. That was weird.
He's a 21-year-old. He's a great athlete, and from what I understand, a great human being, and
handsome is to boot.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the whole package.
He has no problem getting a date, yeah. I just bet.
Oh, man. Gopher volleyball. Did you see their schedule?
Yes.
So on September 1st, which is a week from tomorrow, that's a Saturday. If I do my math. Nope, that's a Sunday. Sunday the 1st. They play number 5 Stanford in Milwaukee in this televised tournament that's going to be on FS1. And then they play number 1 Texas the following day. Then they play in the Big 10, Pac-12, or Big 12, excuse me, and they get to play Baylor, who's ranked number 23, and they get to play TCU. And then they come off of that and they get St. Thomas. Not that that's a big deal. And then they play in their own class. I tell you,
but I've noticed about these volleyball teams for the last few years, they have jumped to these upper division competition right at the beginning of the season. And and some people would say, can they play weaker teams and develop this and this? I like the attitude that we want to be of these top teams. In order to be one of these top teams, we got to play them, and you do. It's just just about as simple as that. So I'm all in favor of it. I hope they do well against these guys. I mean, hey, you knock off Stanford the first game of the year, you got something to build on, and it's not to mention Texas and Baylor and any of the rest of those characters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I don't think they're dumbing down their schedule at all.
No. And
watering down. That's the wrong
when
word.
I watch some college volleyball, but you really don't understand volleyball athletes until you see them in the Olympics. My Lord, they were just the athletes were just incredible from all the nations. And
well, yeah, I think we're watching college volleyball and we think it's so good.
Yeah,
because they're such good athletes. Now you pare it down to a dozen.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
I noticed the difference right off.
Yeah.
And it's they get those services going. I mean, you not only couldn't return it, it'd hurt if you did. So it's not. I tell you, women's sports is taking off, and it's not only taking off; it's flying high. And Minnesota Gopher volleyball, hey, they're doing well.
Minnesota Lynx, speaking of women, got a nice win in Vegas the other night. They've come back from the Olympics and sitting well. They get to play Vegas again tonight at home. How many times do you get to say this? The Lynx scored on 8 consecutive possessions. They made a basket on 8 consecutive possessions early in the game. Kind of put Vegas back on their heels.
Well, it does, and you can match that with a field goal and a free throw, and you take a look and you've done nothing, and they're up by 5, and so no, I like that instant start that they have on there, and it's good to be able to shoot hot in the beginning.
But a month left in the regular season for the WNBA.
So this is about as good. This is about as good a team as you've seen in a while.
Yeah. I'll say this. Somebody was complaining the other day about our coach, Cheryl Reeve, and the fact that she has employed a 5-out offense. 5 ladies basically standing outside of the 3-point line. And I'm like, I watched them the other night, and I didn't see that. I saw a lot of Mafisa Collier going down into the paint and then trying to get it in her, and then she dished it out. So 4 out, 1 in. But still seems to be working.
That's pretty standard basketball these days. And they have these shooters in the corners, and boy, I'll tell you, they don't need much room to get that thing off, and they hit it a lot.
They hit it a lot.
And so I understand why they're doing it. I like to have jamming up in the middle. I like to have 2 really tall pivot people to put down in the thing. You might not have that, so you shoot with what you got. But I watched them play, and I think sometimes they were a little bit hesitant on offense because they had nobody else in the middle to go to, and they looked around, and when you put good coverage on those outside people, it's hard to get the ball to them sometimes. And so, and then they would slow down the whole offense, and that was a concern. But there are times that their defense was a concern as well. So I think right now they're playing as good as I've seen the Lynx play, and I think that they're going to...
I think it's been 7 years since they won their last championship.
There you are.
Where's Maya Moore, baby? Come on back, please. We'd love to have you back, Maya.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, all right.
No, but I'm as long as we're there, the Timberwolves, they are getting 1/3 of their games broadcast nationally this year.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
How come that happened? Because they're good and win?
Because they're good and they're winning, and Anthony Edwards he'll speak his mind.
He not only speaking his mind, he's developing a following.
He TNT and ESPN, they like when guys come on and don't put on their coach speak or their player speak. They like guys who come out and say what's on their mind, like Charles Barkley, for example. people love Charles Barkley because he doesn't really give a rat's what happens in the end.
Well,
he's going to say it the way he sees it, and that's what I see in
He's
Anthony Edwards.
one of my favorites.
You know, and Anthony's got himself into trouble for his mouth at times in the past, and yeah, that's why people like to watch him, because he kind of gives it. Yeah. What else you got on your tablet?
I'm not
What-
sure I have
what-
anything
what-
else that I had on my tablet, but
Football, Twins.
well, last 7th game.
All right,
well,
you-
what I do have though
Oh.
is an updated projection of the final 53.
Oh gosh.
And now I don't want to go through this, but we see that they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks, and J.J. McCarthy is out on injured reserve. So that gives us Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, Jared Hall, and they're going to release Matt Corral. Although Jared Hall, I thought when he was out there actually played pretty well. Not that they see him at practice, so they don't know. Running backs, and this is the concern. They'll keep 4 of these, and that's Aaron Jones, C.J. Hams, Ty Chandler, and Kene Nwangwu. And Nwangwu, that would be. God, I can't believe they're only going to keep 4. Miles Gaskin, he ran the ball real well the last game that I was playing. I kind of like watching him. I've not seen McBride, but Aaron Jones seems to be the top stud here, and and so we'll see what he can do. I haven't seen him play yet. They're not going to let him play for a while. So
I actually turned on the game last week just so I could say I was watching football. I didn't know who was in the game because I was in a bar watching it and couldn't hear the sound anyway. So, yeah.
So the next question is 5 receivers, and we've got Justin Jefferson, and let's just stop there for a second because Justin Jefferson is having one of these hamstring deals again. And they were talking about the NFL spends so much time and so much energy trying to work out hamstrings from these incredible running wide receivers, and they pull them all the time. And they don't know why. Well, it's not hard to figure out. You have these incredibly powerful athletes that can jump and run and do all the rest of that stuff. They are outperforming their hamstrings.
Is Justin Jefferson on the Randy Moss stretching detail?
No, I don't know, but they're not going to be playing him for a while. Jordan Addison, he's got a busted up ankle. Jalen Naylor, been very impressive receiver, and I kind of like watching him. Tristan Jackson, another really good job. Now the one guy that they're going to cut, or they think they're going to cut, and I don't think they should. That's Lucky Jackson.
Lucky Jackson.
What a name!
You want a guy on your team that's got the name Lucky?
I think so, and there's nothing the matter with that. So but they're going to have to get some depths. Right now, they only have 3 receivers that are worth a rip. So they're going to have to work that out. And Justin Jefferson will not play this week. Guaranteed.
Yeah, he wasn't going to play whether he was injured or not.
Yeah, that's true.
He'll be ready to go come September.
Now, tight ends, we got Josh Oliver, Johnny Munt, Ryan Tonyan, and Nick Muse. TJ is still on the injured reserve, and I'm not sure he's going to make it back this year.
Oh, yeah.
Is he?
They're saying earlier than projected. They think maybe in October.
Oh, well, that would be good because
the last I saw was they were talking maybe in October.
Okay.
I don't believe it, but maybe.
Tonyan now, he's
I think it'll depend upon how the season's going. If we're 6-2 at that point, he's going to be playing. If we're 2-6, he's going to say, I don't think I'm quite ready yet.
So this is Bob Tanyan, and this is what they're talking about. The ex-Packers, ex-Bear tight end is a strong receiving threat, but he's 30 years old.
That's not old.
That's not old, but he's 30. Oh yeah, and suffering back spasms. Now that might be a little bit different. Offensive lineman 9. And I mean, can you have too many offensive linemen? I ask you. You cannot.
No, not with the way the injuries happen in that position.
No. So, interior defensive line, Harrison Phillips, good nose guard. If they can get an edge rusher like Dallas Turner on one end, and I'm not sure that Ivan Pace isn't going to be rushing from the other end wherever they put him. He hasn't played yet either. Here's a kid that undrafted comes in, plays in the very first a preseason game and they look at him, and now this year they're not even letting him play because he's too important for the team. And I just think,
For a team that's going to go 6-11, remember.
I saw him make like 4 tackles in a row in that game, and I thought, geez, here's a kid that's looking to make the team. Yeah, he's not only looking to make the team, but he's doing really well. And so we'll see what happens. But you have to have, they got 11 interior linemen and edge rushers. I don't think you can go into the thing with less than 4 edge rushers, or at least somebody that can play the position.
Oh, they're going to got to rotate those guys.
They will.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me see. Anything else? Ivan Pace, he's my favorite,
As we know.
And
Even more than Harrison Smith?
I like Harrison Smith too. That's what I like defense about. But Harrison Smith, and they interviewed him on the other day. Here's a guy that's having a good time, and he knows this is on the tail end of his career, and he's just up there sucking up and enjoying where he's at. He's got all this wisdom, and he'll hit you like a ton. And so I'm not sure how many hits he has left, but the ones he have, they're going to hit you like a ton. So he'll be fun to watch. Anyway, those are the guys, the way they're coming up, and I'm sure when I take a look at that book there and look at the roster, the first thing I say was this roster is not very good, because in a couple of weeks it'll be completely different. So those are the ones that I just know that are here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Watched a little Canadian football last night. I have to throw this out to you because
Yeah.
the game's tied 19-19 at the end of the game. And in Canada, when you miss a field goal, if you don't return it out of the end zone, it's 1 point, right?
A rouge job.
And you also, if you catch the ball, you could kick it back out of the end zone so you avoid that point.
Yeah.
So last night it's tied at 19. Toronto lines up to kick the game-winning field goal, or in this case, the game-winning rouge, because the kicker kicked it far enough that it went out of the end zone so that the guy couldn't catch it and kick it back out of the end zone, which he would have done if he would have caught it rather than trying to return it. Anyway, the point of the story is the announcers were saying there has been discussion that you cannot win the game on a rouge, should not be able to win the game on a rouge on the last play of the game. You should not be able to win on a rouge. You should have to make that field goal, and if you miss, they should go to overtime. And then the one announcer says, but it's in the rules that you get a point for it.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
So all of a sudden you're going to abandon the scoring rules on the last play of the game?
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
It was very interesting. Toronto was playing Saskatchewan. Toronto had, hear me out now, either first, second, or third and goal at the 1 yard line, 5 plays.
Oh,
Guess how many times they scored on those 5 plays?
none.
0.
That's a defense.
0. Now remember, folks, those of you that don't watch Canadian football, in the NFL and high school in the States, the football is there. Your nose guard can line up right there. As long as he's not across that football, and maybe even in some cases he might be a little close, the referees are going to let that go. In the CFL, you got to be 1 yard away. So you got to have 3 feet between all the defensive linemen. Everybody's on the line's got to be 3 feet away from the football. So when you've got first and goal at the 1 yard line, everybody else has to have their hand in the end zone.
Ooh.
And they still didn't score on 5 plays.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's called great defense.
That is called great defense.
That's great defense.
And they are low. They can't go head up on that center, though. Huh? That's
Nope.
That's
1 yard away. Everybody on the line sure has got to be a yard away
I
from the
made a
ball.
living on that.
That zone. There's that neutral zone that you gotta leave alone. You were at a football scrimmage on Wednesday night. What'd you see?
Oh, I didn't make it over
Oh,
there.
you didn't make it over there.
No.
Okay.
What did you see?
I didn't go either.
Oh, no,
I was at by 7:15, and I know what's coming. I'm trying to reserve my nights away.
Well, we've got that game next Friday, and I think there's going to be a lot of former Broncos in town. There's going to be,
Did you get your tickets yet?
Oh, do I need one? I got a pass. Senior
Oh, that's right.
citizen pass.
You're a senior citizen. I don't think about you that
for
way,
life.
George. For life,
For life. That's 15, 20 more years,
at least.
at least.
So, yeah, we got the sign up at the field for Stuart Nordquist Field. I got a picture right here for you if I can get
Okay.
my phone to start up. So you can look at that. So, yeah, that's next Friday night. Make sure you get out and buy your tickets beforehand at the high school so you don't have to wait in line when you get down there. Remember, the game starts at 6 o'clock, and the football field named Stuart Nordquist Field at Sports Stadium as of halftime on Friday night. And your good friend Mike Manasseh is coming back to speak
All right.
for the man
At
at the
halftime?
game at halftime. Yeah. So I'll do a little introduction for
Couldn't
Mike.
think of anybody better.
Well, it seemed like the obvious choice.
It really does, doesn't it?
And I hope nobody is offended by that statement, but I know there's a lot of former players that coached with Stuart, but Mike seemed like the right one to me, and he said yes, and I'm glad that he said yes.
I had an opportunity
think-
to coach the guy, and it was a great opportunity, and I'm glad I had it.
Yeah.
So super.
So-
I did get a call from a school board member asking me about the game and if I was going to go, and I said yeah, and he said, "Did you want me to get a ticket?" No, I got a pass. It's signed by Kevin Grover. I hope it's still good.
I believe it's still good from everything that I've been told.
Yeah.
Bronco volleyball home match on Monday. They get actually things started for real on Monday night against Roseau at home. 6 o'clock game start. Swimming team heads to Babbitt on Tuesday. The cross country team heads to Badette on Tuesday. So by the end of next week, volleyball team actually plays 3 times next week. So
It starts with a bang.
and
with a bang.
I went and started scoreboards today and realized that there's a whole lot of other stuff that I got to make sure is ready to go.
You do.
So yeah, it's craziness.
Well, there you are.
Anything else?
I got it covered. We'll see next week. I don't know when we're going to fit one in.
Yeah,
but,
well, we might have to shoot for Thursday. Maybe before that Gopher game
maybe
and before the
game.
Bulldogs game and all
Yeah.
that other stuff. Probably Thursday. Friday I better not make a commitment to because Friday could be a nutso day.
Yeah.
Enough said, folks. Thanks for watching.
Take
Hope
care.
you enjoyed the museum show last week. Heard some positive comments about it. So
All right.
thanks everybody.